Afternoon sun kissed lace curtains. Golden streaks danced across tables. Sweet memories. Bakery breathed stillness. Eva Lancaster sat before cake. 22 candles flickered, burning softly. She was alone. Completely alone. The air hummed with absence. Then the door chimed gently. A man entered. Calm, kind. His daughter followed, bright, curious. She clutched a small gift box. Noticed Ava's loneliness instantly, whispering, "Daddy, she's by herself, see?" The man's gaze softened deeply. He approached with quiet respect. "May we join you?" he asked. Ava blinked, unsure, then nodded faintly. Loneliness made strangers feel like miracles. She hadn't spoken all morning. Now warmth brushed her silence. Ava measured life by waiting, between her father's rare phone calls. 22, yet time felt endless. 4 years bound to this chair. Luxury had become her prison. Her father, Richard Lancaster, always unreachable. CEO, empire builder, voice of power. He ruled markets, not emotions. Couldn't spare 5 minutes at home. Couldn't face what she'd become. The crash had rewritten her world. Not just bones, but belonging shattered. Her body obeyed no commands. Her hope lingered, fragile but fierce. And yet, she still smiled. Richard buried himself in work, a man escaping his helplessness. He provided everything, except his presence. Nurses rotated, machines softly hummed. Doctors repeated one cruel truth. She will never walk again. Money built walls, not comfort. Mansions echoed with quiet ache. Text messages replaced warm embraces. Her world spun without connection. Birthdays arrived with wire transfers. Holidays felt sterile, rehearsed, hollow. Her wheelchair wasn't just confinement, it symbolized distance, emotional exile. The world kept moving past. Daniel Morris carried grief differently. 30 years old, steady hands, a carpenter shaped by loss. His wife, Sarah, gone forever. He raised Lily all alone. 5 years balancing sorrow, hope. He never fled from pain. He lived beside it quietly. Each scar became quiet wisdom. Each dawn, another chance healing. His workshop smelled of sawdust. Wood dust floated like prayers. Every creation whispered endurance, love. Each carving, a promise kept. Nothing lasts, yet beauty remains. Lily had her mother's eyes. Her father's gentleness filled her. She sensed loneliness like music, always drawn to quiet hearts, always trying to make light. Richard buried himself in work. A man escaping his helplessness. He provided everything except his presence. Nurses rotated, machines softly hummed. Doctors repeated one cruel truth. She will never walk again. Money built walls, not comfort. Mansions echoed with quiet ache. Text messages replaced warm embraces. Her world spun without connection. Birthdays arrived with wire transfers. Holidays felt sterile, rehearsed, hollow. Her wheelchair wasn't just confinement. It symbolized distance, emotional exile. The world kept moving past. Daniel Morris carried grief differently. 30 years old, steady hands. A carpenter shaped by loss. His wife Sarah gone forever. He raised Lily all alone. 5 years balancing sorrow, hope. He never fled from pain. He lived beside it quietly. Each scar became quiet wisdom. Each dawn, another chance healing. His workshop smelled of sawdust. Wood dust floated like prayers. Every creation whispered endurance, love. Each carving, a promise kept. Nothing lasts, yet beauty remains. Lily had her mother's eyes. Her father's gentleness filled her. She sensed loneliness like music, always drawn to quiet hearts, always trying to make light. Lily grew up with absence, a mother's ghost-shaped love. She learned presence wasn't required. Broken families could still heal. Wholeness lived beside their fractures. Daniel taught her to notice, the quiet ones in corners, those whose smiles hid pain. Everyone needs a friend, Lily. Be brave. Offer friendship first. So when Lily saw Eva, alone before her glowing cake, something stirred within her heart, a reflection of shared solitude, an echo of her father. She recognized that hollow look, the silence behind Eva's eyes. She didn't hesitate, just moved. Kindness came naturally to Lily. Connection was her love language. Daniel followed her gentle lead. He trusted his daughter's intuition. He saw loneliness in posture, the way Eva folded inward, trying to disappear in grace. His carpenter's eye saw depth. He always noticed hidden beauty. Rough wood, quiet souls. Same truth. Underneath pain there was potential. Even grief could be transformed. Approaching her wasn't decision, instinct, as natural as drawing breath, as simple as being human. "Excuse me," Daniel said softly. "May we join you, miss?" His tone warm, measured, kind. Ava looked up, startled, uncertain. The candles flickered between them. 3 strangers, one unspoken connection, and loneliness finally met grace. "My daughter wants to wish you a very happy birthday." Ava's eyes widened in surprise. Kind eyes met trembling grace. The little girl nearly sparkled. Pure joy danced within her. No one had asked before. To join her, simply stay. Only those paid to care. Lily didn't wait for permission. She bounced forward, cupcake in hand. A tiny star candle gleamed. "I'm Lily. This is yours. I made it with Daddy. We come here every year." "It's my mommy's birthday, too." "She's in heaven," Lily smiled softly. "But she still sees us." "We always celebrate together anyway." Her words cut through silence. Innocence spoke what wisdom forgot. Life and death intertwined gently. Ava's walls began to crumble. Something fragile stirred inside her. Daniel pulled a nearby chair. His movements were calm, deliberate. He'd learned never to rush. "I'm Daniel," he said warmly. "That's a beautiful cake, Eva. No one should celebrate alone." Eva nodded, unable to speak. Tears shimmered, uninvited yet honest. Then Lily began to sing, soft, off-key, completely beautiful. Eva closed her eyes slowly, made a wish, 4 years late, a wish both tender, raw. "I don't want loneliness anymore." Her heart whispered it quietly. Daniel's baritone joined his daughter's. 2 voices, different yet whole. The bakery filled with warmth. Music replaced years of silence, and something broken began mending. Other customers smiled, glancing briefly. But Ava barely noticed anyone. Her world shrank to that table. 2 strangers had chosen her. To see her. To stay. They made her birthday matter again. Weeks passed, and meetings continued. Chance became rhythm. Rhythm became connection. At the park, ducks waited. Lily fed them, always chattering. She spoke of drawings and dreams, of books and her imagined mother. Ava listened, heart quietly unfolding. Daniel's presence asked for nothing. He never flinched at wheelchairs. He saw her simply, wholly human. Like noticing sunlight in hair, like watching thought flicker on lips. Their talks began in safety, weather, books, Lily's endless curiosity, then ventured toward softer truths. Daniel spoke of Sarah gently, grief worn smooth like river stones. "Sarah taught kindergarten," he said. "She believed children were universes. She painted forests on our walls. Every color promised something possible. She faced danger with fierce grace." His voice trembled, then steadied. Loss lived there, but also life. Ava began to trust him. Words slipped out before permission came. Stories she'd buried under silence. Therapists never reached this depth. Daniel just listened. No clipboard, no pity. She spoke of the accident slowly. Clinical facts at first. Detached tone. A red light. Screeching tires. The strange peace before impact. Then came the harder truth, waking to her father's voice. All business. No visible heartbreak. negotiating her care like contracts. Pain management, recovery plan, public statement. Not once did he say, sorry. Her voice trembled, then broke softly. Daniel didn't interrupt or console. He simply let silence hold her. And in that quiet acceptance, Ava began to breathe again. The slow realization that she had become a problem to be managed rather than a daughter to be loved. The endless days in the mansion where every need was anticipated except the need to be seen as more than her disability. Lily would often interrupt these heavy conversations with the perfect timing children possess, dragging Eva into her imaginative games where wheelchairs could fly, and sadness was just another color to paint with. The little girl had decided that Eva was essential to her world, frequently asking, "Are you happy today, Miss Eva?" with the serious concern of a tiny therapist. One afternoon at their usual coffee shop, while Lily was absorbed in coloring at a nearby table, Daniel watched Ava laugh at something the child had said, and he felt something shift in his chest. It wasn't the dramatic lightning strike of new love, but rather the gentle recognition of possibility, like the first green shoot pushing through winter soil. Ava must have sensed his gaze because she turned to him, and for a moment, they simply looked at each other. The coffee shop faded away, and there was only this. Two people who had been broken in different ways, discovering they might fit together, not despite their damage, but because of it. Daniel reached across the table, his fingers barely brushing hers. "Ava, I need you to know something, Lily, and we're not here because we feel sorry for you. We're here because you make our days better. You make us better." Ava's eyes filled with tears. She didn't try to hide. "I don't know how to do this," she whispered. "Neither do I," Daniel admitted. "But maybe we can figure it out together." Their relationship grew slowly, carefully, like a garden tended by people who understood that the most beautiful things required patience. They discovered joy in small moments. Lily teaches Eva to fold origami cranes. Daniel adjusted restaurant chairs without being asked, so Eva's wheelchair fit perfectly. Ava read stories to Lily with different voices for each character, while Daniel watched with soft eyes. The universe of their small healing family might have continued to expand gently, but Richard Lancaster had been watching from the shadows of his corporate tower. He had hired private investigators the moment his household staff reported that Eva was spending time with an inappropriate company. The reports on his desk painted a picture that filled him with cold fury. Daniel Morris, a working-class widower with modest means, spending hours with his damaged daughter. To Richard, the conclusion was obvious. This man was a predator, targeting a vulnerable heiress. He summoned Eva to his study one evening, a room she rarely entered with its wall of monitors displaying stock tickers and its smell of expensive leather and disappointment. "You will cease all contact with this man immediately," Richard commanded, not looking up from his laptop. "He's using you, Eva. What else could he possibly want from someone like you?" The cruelty of the words, the casual dismissal of her worth beyond her bank account, hit Ava like a physical blow. "Someone like me?" she repeated, her voice dangerously quiet. "You mean your broken daughter? The one you can't stand to look at because she reminds you that you are not actually God." Richard finally looked up, his face a mask of controlled anger that Ava remembered from hostile takeover meetings she'd witnessed as a child. "I'm protecting you. You're naive, Eva. You've been sheltered. You don't understand how the world works." Ava laughed, a bitter sound that seemed to surprise them both. "Sheltered? I've been imprisoned. There's a difference. Father, Daniel, and Lily see me. They actually see me. When did you last look at me without seeing a liability?" Richard stood. His full height meant to intimidate, a tactic that worked in boardrooms but only made Eva feel smaller in her chair. "Enough. If you continue seeing him, I'll take legal action. I'll claim he's taking advantage of a disabled person. I'll destroy his little carpentry business. Is that what you want?" Ava felt the trap closing around her. She knew her father's threats weren't empty. He had destroyed competitors with less motivation. The thought of Daniel and innocent Lily being crushed by her father's machinery was unbearable. That night, she sent Daniel a text with shaking hands. "I can't see you anymore. Please don't contact me. I'm sorry." The words felt like swallowing glass, each letter a betrayal of everything real she'd found. Daniel stared at the message, reading it over and over, as if the words might rearrange themselves into something that made sense. The text seemed so unlike Ava, so cold and final. Lily found him sitting in the dark living room hours later, still holding his phone. "Daddy, why are you sad?" she asked, climbing into his lap with the instinctive understanding that her father needed comfort. "Miss Eva can't see us anymore, sweetheart," he said, his voice rough with unshed tears. Lily was quiet for a long moment, processing this information with the deep thought children give to incomprehensible adult decisions. "But she loves us," Lily said simply. "I know she does. She smiles differently when she sees us. Real smiles, not pretend ones." Daniel hugged his daughter tighter, amazed at her perception, and heartbroken that she was learning so young that love wasn't always enough. For 3 days, he respected Eva's wishes, though it felt like holding his breath underwater. His workshop felt oppressive. Each piece of wood reminded him of stories he'd planned to share with Eva. Lily stopped singing around the house. Her usual cheerfulness dimmed like a light with a dying battery. On the 4th day, when Lily asked if Eva didn't want them because they weren't rich, something in Daniel snapped. Not in anger, but in determination. He wouldn't let Lily believe that love was conditional on bank accounts. They drove to the Lancaster mansion, a journey into a different world where gates were meant to keep people out rather than welcome them in. The security guard was polite but firm. "I'm sorry, sir. You're not on the approved list." Behind him, the mansion loomed like a beautiful prison. Lily pressed her small face between the iron bars of the gate. "Miss Eva," she called out. "Miss Eva, we miss you. Please come back." Her voice carried on the wind, a child's pure longing that no amount of money could buy or sell. Inside the mansion, Eva heard that precious voice calling her name. She was in her room, having refused to leave it since her father's ultimatum. The sound of Lily calling for her was unbearable, each word a reminder of what she'd given up to protect them. She wheeled herself to the window and saw them at the gate, Daniel standing with his hand on Lily's shoulder. Both of them looked lost. Something inside Ava snapped. Not broke, but snapped back into place like a dislocated joint finally returning home. She thought of all the years she'd been obedient, all the times she'd chosen her father's comfort over her own happiness. And she realized that protecting Daniel and Lily from her father meant nothing if it destroyed them all. Anyway, Ava maneuvered her wheelchair to the service elevator, the one the staff used, avoiding the main floors where her father might be. She made it to the kitchen's back door, where Maria, the cook who had known her since childhood, took one look at her face and simply opened the door without a word. "Be happy, Mija," Maria whispered, understanding without explanation. The evening air was cold and rain had started to fall. But Ava didn't care. She knew where she needed to go, drawn by the same instinct that had first brought them together.